Hello, how are you? Hopefully you are doing very well today. Happy day after the 4th of July, another birthday for our country. Most important indeed. So I'd like to just address one of the things that happened probably yesterday or today. I'm not sure which. I didn't read the article yet. They took down the statue of Frederick Douglass. The question is why? Again, we're erasing our history. This is a man who was the first black congressman to ever serve. Now, how can they say that he is a racist or it's racist? Whatever, they cannot. The statue stuff has got to stop. Thank God the president has signed an EO to punish the people who are actually tearing down monuments. They tore down the statue of Christopher Columbus. Guess what? All them people who did it get 10 years in prison minimum. They're in deep shit and they better know it. And I hope they get every single one of them. This is out of control. And it is not really comprehensible. Yeah, they want to erase our history, but we have to learn once again from our past to go forward to the future and learn in the present. Because, and I know they're Marxists, they're a bunch of damn commies, then we need to remove, not tear down, just remove Bill Clinton and Obama and Lenin. Those statues must go. There's statues of how do you want to say, the New World Order. Not Lenin, but he was the father of communism. But Obama and Clinton were part of the New World Order. And corruption and criminals, and it's coming. I mean, you could just see it all around you. So I'd like to just present today, or tonight, wherever you may be living, a recap of the festivities of the 4th of July with the President and First Lady. And what I found most really exciting is Mary Hart was there. I always liked her. She's a very friendly personality, which she used to be on Entertainment Tonight, and I remember watching it when it first aired, and she co-host. And it was really surprising to see her there, and it was really very nice and pleasant. But first, I'd like to present Huckabee with a few thoughts, which are really important for everybody. And he is there.
Well, this weekend, we celebrate 244 years as an independent nation. But the events of the past few months make me wonder if we're going to have many more to celebrate. We started as a unique country based on the notion that our rights come from God, not from government. And that's because we recognize God as creator of all of us. And that means we're all equal in intrinsic worth and value. That we would not require some big government because we would mostly self-govern and live with the understanding that the great freedoms that we enjoy require great responsibilities. As it says in the scripture, unto whom much is given, much is required. We were never perfect. We still aren't. We've had some pretty ugly chapters in our history, but the brilliance of our founders was to create a nation who would be governed by law and not by our passions and emotions. We would grant rights even to those accused of awful crimes, so that we wouldn't be ruled by a mob whose sense of justice would be at best uneven, and at worst, as evil as the crime it was seeking to avenge. It made our system at times a little slow, sometimes unfair, and just plain wrong on occasion. But the ideal was to make all of us accountable to the same laws and suffer the same consequences for violating them. All of that is at risk of going away if we allow people in the highest levels of law enforcement and the intelligence community to get away with trying to stage a coup d'etat against an elected president. A man of color in Minneapolis was murdered by a cop, and a video of the murder was seen by the world. While no one defends the cop's actions, some use the tragedy as an excuse to break windows, assault innocent people, loot stores, and burn businesses that were actually owned by people of color. And when that happens, we're rewarding anarchy and mob rule. But while the news reports the worst of our nation's sins, there are some truly outstanding things of love, kindness, and sacrifice that are happening around us every day. And we need to hear more of their stories. And tonight, you will. I hope that you will celebrate America this weekend. And sure, we aren't perfect, but we are a lot better nation than any of the over 70 places on earth, various countries that I visited. 244 years ago, some very courageous souls risked their fortunes and their very lives to give us a country unlike any other ever created. I don't want to lose this country to those who would trade liberty for the lunacy of a system that would resemble the government like it was in the time of the judges of the Old Testament, where every man did what was right in his own eyes. Let's celebrate America, but let's fight to preserve the best of it and change and reform the worst of it.
Now, if you want more videos like that one, hit the subscribe button below and the notification.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and First Lady Melania Trump. Please rise for the playing of the national anthem.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Warrant Officer 2, Rylan Eddington. I am a UH-60 pilot with the South Dakota Army National Guard's Charlie Company, 1st of the 189th Aviation Regiment. My wife, Kayla, and I would like to welcome you to the great state of South Dakota. South Dakota National Guard, along with our nation's military, proudly serves our state and the nation. Whether at home or overseas, we stand ready to support and defend the citizens of South Dakota and the United States. Thank you for your continued support of our armed forces. We hope you enjoy the festivities tonight.
Senior Master Sergeant Chad Wynot. I'm the Aircraft Production Superintendent at the 114th Fighter Wing. I grew up in Colton, South Dakota, and I joined the South Dakota Air National Guard in 1992. As the Production Superintendent, I direct the maintenance for our F-16 fighter aircraft, all the unscheduled and scheduled maintenance. Our mission is to generate combat air power with our F-16 aircraft. It means a lot to me to follow in my parents' footsteps. It's very rewarding, and I really like serving with my children. That's also a rewarding opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy your 114th Fighter Wing Fighting Lobos, South Dakota Air National Guard.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Justin Purge Nichols from Pierce, South Dakota. I'm a B-1 bomber pilot and proud member of the world-famous 34th Bomb Squadron Thunderbirds at Ellsworth Air Force Base.
I'm Captain Garrett Boom Mack from Rapid City, South Dakota. I'm a B-1 Weapons Systems Officer and proud member of the 37th Bomb Squadron Tigers at Ellsworth. Coming up, you will witness the awesome power of the B-1B Lancer, strategic bomber capable of long-range, long-duration missions with a top speed of 900 miles per hour, carrying the largest payload of both guided and unguided weapons in the Air Force inventory.
We hope you enjoy the show. Happy birthday, America.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron takes pleasure in performing for you here at Mount Rushmore, South Dakota. Since 1946, the Blue Angels have had the unique privilege of demonstrating to the American public the precision techniques of naval aviation, hoping to inspire a culture of excellence and service to the country. Here at Mount Rushmore, we will perform a flyby in traditional Blue Angel formation, so that you may see and take pride in the precise fashion in which your Navy and Marine Corps pilots are trained to fly. Representing your United States Navy and Marine Corps, the Blue
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former host of Entertainment Tonight and your Master of Ceremonies, Mary Hart.
Thank you, and good South Dakota evening to one and all. We welcome you, President Trump, our First Lady Melania, and your whole family. There are so many people I want to introduce very quickly, but I want to say thank you, Governor Noem, for making this possible. To you incredible audience, you have been here for hours today, and it was only 125 degrees out here in the sun. And you're not only seated here, you are up there and you are beyond. So you are just spectacular for being here to celebrate an early 4th of July, the birthday of our great nation. I also want to briefly introduce, you know these gentlemen well, former Governor and current Senator Mike Rounds, and John Thune, longtime friend. Wonderful to have you here. I see our NSC advisor, Robert O'Brien. Welcome to South Dakota. And Senator Paul, Rand Paul, I believe, am I seeing you? Okay. And then we have Congressman Dusty Johnson seated over here. Congressman Jason Smith. Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen, as well as Congressman Adrian Smith. Welcome to you all. It is so incredibly great to be back in my home state of South Dakota. And it started this simply a few weeks ago. It was a text. Isn't that the way all of our important events occur in our lives these days? Did you get my voicemail, Mary? Christy. I texted back, no, when did you leave it? Next second, the phone rings. It's Governor Noem saying, hey, Mary, I have a favor to ask of you. Would you consider? And when she explained this glorious night and the plans, I said, are you kidding? I would be so honored, so happy. And let me just tell you that I am incredibly proud to have all of you who are first-timers here, and I know there are people from all over the country visiting, because I've talked to a few of you today. And we're so happy, whether it's New Hampshire or Delaware, or wherever you came from, you had a trek. But I know you're happy to be in this great state. I have a long association with Mount Rushmore, and it's making me mad that those guys up there in Granite aren't aging. Because, yeah, as a young kid, I was here with my family. And then, as Miss South Dakota, and I thank you. You know what? I woke up at 3 a.m. about a week and a half ago, and I went, do I dare mention that? But yes, because it's important to me. I am so proud of this state and the values that I was raised with here in South Dakota. But I was here as Miss South Dakota in 1970, and the heart attack started when I went, that is 50 years ago. Holy cow. So, I am proud of that. In 1991, I had the great joy of co-hosting with fellow South Dakotan Tom Brokaw the rededication and 50th, the golden anniversary of Mount Rushmore. And we were honored by the presence of our 41st president, George Herbert Walker Bush, and our first lady, Barbara Bush. And I'm bringing this up because President Bush, we went fishing that day. We went fishing, the Bushes and the Sugarmans. And I just wanted to offer that I have a tackle box, and I can put a live wriggling worm on a hook in case you and Melania would like to, you know, try to catch a few before you leave or when you come back. I am so honored to be your master of ceremonies tonight, and I know we are all so proud of our men and women